Now moving ahead, we are going to talk about solve the following by factorization method. We have already made a video and practiced a few questions on the factorization method. Again, we have a different set of questions given for the IGCSE students. Okay. Now here, when we talk about the factorization method, consider the equation that is given. It should be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. You can see that the powers of x are decreasing. There is x square, x to the power 1 and x to the power 0. X to the power 0 will be 1. So here there will be no x in here. And there is only 1x here and 2x here. They should be always in this pattern. And then what I've told you is, you have to multiply the coefficient of x square with the constant term. So a times of c is what you're going to do in here. So when you do it, you get the product. The product, you have to find the factors of the product in such a way that when you add or subtract the factors, you get the middle term of b. Okay, so let's apply these particular things in here. This is already in the decreasing fashion, so we are happy with it. Then moving ahead, we are going to see that we're going to talk about the coefficient of x square in here and the constant term. So there's nothing in front of it. That means there's a 1 times of minus 10. That is equal to minus 10. Okay, now factors of 10 I'm supposed to find. 2 5s are 10. Now when I add, okay, now when I subtract this, like 5 and 2, I'm going to get a 3 in here. Now how do I subtract it? What is the method I have to subtract? Here there is a minus sign. If b is negative, the big factor should be negative in here. Okay, the big factor should be negative. Okay, so let's apply that in here. So x square minus, it is going to be plus 2x first of all, minus 5x minus 10 is equal to 0. Take the first two terms, last two terms. What is common in here? There's an x common in here. X plus 2 is what I'm left with. Here you can see minus 5 is common in both of them. So minus 5 goes out and left hand side will be x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now here the catch is that the first bracket and the second bracket should be exactly the same so that you can factorize it again. So x plus 2 goes out and you are left with x minus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, now you have to find it factorized. This is not the factorization because he has given equal to 0. You have to find the values of x. So x is equal to minus 2, or else we can say x plus 2 is equal to 0. It becomes an x minus 5 is equal to 0. Send it towards the other side, send it towards the other side. X is equal to minus 2 and x is equal to plus 5 is what you get. So here will be given x is equal to dash comma dash. So it is minus 2 comma 5 is what you get in here. Okay. So the second question that is given is 2x squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. This is an x. Okay. Now, if you look at this, if you observe this, what we are going to see is the 2x squared, x and minus 6 are equal to 0. It is written in a proper fashion. Then what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to multiply the coefficient of x squared and the constant term. Constant term means it will not have any variable. It will just be a number. Okay, so if I write it down, a constant term is just a number without a variable. Okay, and then now if I say 2x squared, this is called as the coefficient, this is called as the base, and this is called as the power. Okay, now here, so the coefficient of x squared multiplies with the constant term. So 2 multiplies with 6. If we do 2 minus 6, it is going to multiply. It is not just, we are just not going to multiply the numbers, we will also take into consideration the sign. So it becomes minus 12. The factors of 12 such that it is going to be a positive x. So here let's consider 3 4s are 12, but here it is a positive x that you are supposed to get. And when I add them, so that means I have to add them. So if I add them, it will become 7. If I subtract them, 3 minus 4 or 4 minus 3, it is going to be 1. But if I do 3 minus 4, it is going to be minus 1. But here it is only my positive 1. So there's a rule. If b is negative and the product is negative, okay, b and product is negative, then what we are supposed to do is, in the factors, the big factor, okay, whatever the big factor is, that should be taken as negative. Okay, but if the product is negative, as you can see in this condition, the product is negative minus 12 you got, and the b value that is given over here is positive, then the minus sign should be with the small factor. the factor which is a smaller one among them should have the negative sign. So it is supposed to be minus 3 plus 4. It is supposed to be minus 3 plus 4, so that it becomes a plus 1 that can fit in here. But when I multiply minus 3 times of 4, it is going to be how much? It is going to be minus 12. Okay. This two conditions you need to follow to do these questions. Okay. Now let's start writing it. The first term will be written as it is. Instead of now the second term, we're going to write minus 3 plus 4. Minus 3x plus 4x minus 6 is equal to 0. First two terms, last two terms. Now when I take into consideration this, x is the only thing that is common here. So x is out, and then left hand side will be 2x minus 3. Here 2, they both come in 2 times table, and that should go out. Left hand side will be 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. First and second brackets are exactly same. Let's write them together. 2x minus 3 and x plus 2 is equal to 0. Let's equate them. 2x minus 3 is equal to 0 and x plus 2 is equal to 0. It becomes x is equal to 3 upon 2 and x is equal to minus 2. That's the end of the question here. Now moving to the next question, which is given. Now most of the students, when they see the roots, they get scared, like how are we supposed to solve this particular question? Do not worry. Once you know the method, that is exactly the method that you're going to follow. What am I supposed to do? Coefficient of x square multiplies with this. So root 2 multiplies with the constant term. So, and we know that root a times of root a is equal to a. So here what does it become? Root a, 5 is already there. Root a becomes a. So root 2 becomes a 2. So it is nothing but a 10. The factors of 10 I'm supposed to find out. The factors of 10 will be 2 5s are 10. And when I subtract them, I will get this sign. Now here I gave you one rule, okay, about the product and the b term, right? When the product is b is positive, the product is negative, then you are supposed to take the big factor as negative, I told you, isn't it? The big factor, sorry, the b is also, both of them are negative, the big factor should be negative. If b is positive, the product is negative, then I told you take the small factor as negative. Okay, but in here you can see that the b is positive and the product is positive, and here what am I supposed to do? I am supposed to add both of them. Then when I add them, I get a 7. So this rule that you need to remember. Okay, so when I do that, it becomes root 2x square. Instead of 7, I can write it as 2x plus 5x plus 5 root 2 is equal to 0. First two terms, last two terms is what you're going to take in again. So when I do that, it becomes again, what is common in them? I just told you, a can be written as root a into root a. So also 2 can be written as root 2 times of root 2, isn't it? So here this is nothing but root 2 times of root 2. So if you consider these two terms, root 2 is common in them. So root 2 goes out and x is also common. Root 2x goes out. Left hand side will be x plus root 2. Okay, now in here 5 is common. So 5 goes out and x plus root 2 is left out for us. So x plus root 2, it's coming twice. Just let's write them once. Root 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. Equating the terms is equal to 0. It becomes x is equal to negative root 2 it becomes. And when I do this, it becomes root 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. X is equal to negative 5 upon root 2 you will get. That's how you simplify such type of questions. Moving ahead, we have another question which is given as 2x square minus x plus 1 upon 8 is equal to 0. Again, students would go like, how am I supposed to do this one? Nothing. We need to get rid of this denominator. To get rid of this denominator, because there's a denominator, I'll multiply the whole thing with an 8. I want to escape this denominator. So it becomes 2 8s are. Now you cannot multiply just one term. You have to multiply everything. Even the 0 has to be multiplied with an 8. So 2 8s are, it becomes 16x square minus 8x plus 8 upon 8 is equal to 0 8s are 0 itself you will get. It will be simplified to 16x square minus 8x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now this and this gets cancelled and I'm left with a 1. Then what, again, the same method that I have, 16 times of 1 is equal to 16. The factors of 16 I get. This is negative and this is positive in here. Okay, factors of 16 are 4 4s are 16. Okay, so what do we see here? Minus b is negative, and the product is positive. B is negative and the product is positive. Then what's going to happen? Then in that scenario, both factors need to be negative. Both factors are required to be negative so that they add and it becomes like this. So it becomes 16x squared minus 4x plus 1 is equal to 0. First two and last two terms you take, and 4x is common in here. It becomes 4x minus 1, and here nothing is common, only minus sign is different. Look here, in this I told you the brackets should be same. If I take nothing common, okay, then it becomes minus x plus 4 plus 1, minus 4x plus 1, but that's completely different. 4x minus 1 is different, minus 4x plus 1 is also different. So to make the bracket same, I'm going to take the minus 1 outside. So it becomes 4x minus 1 inside is equal to 0. Now this is coming twice. So I'll write 4x minus 1, and this two together, 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then when I equate them, x is equal to 1 upon 4, x is equal to 1 upon 4 is what I will get for this one. So these are the tricky questions that you have to pay attention to. Then we have the last question in here, which says that 100x squared minus 20x plus 1 is equal to 0. This is seeming to be very simple, so do it 100 times of 1. 100 times of 1. I want you to write it down every time, though you are very smart, whatsoever it is. One simple mistake in the exam can mess a lot of grades for you. You can go a grade down. So I want you to practice it this way. 100 can be 100. Am I going to get it? I need to get it 20. Okay, so people go like 250s are 100, but if I add them, it's going to be very far. So how am I supposed to do it? 10 times of 10 is what I'm going to do. But again, I told you it's the same thing. The b is negative and the product is positive. Then you have to take the both factors as negative. So they will add them and you're going to get this. So it becomes 100x squared minus 10x minus 10x plus 1 is equal to 0. First two factors, next two factors. What is common in here? 10 is common. 10 and x is common. So here 10x minus 1 will be left out. Here nothing is common, so I will take the minus sign out. You just cannot take the minus sign out. You have to take it out with a 1. And 10x minus 1 will remain inside. So I get 10x minus 1, and while comparing these two, and I'll club them and write it as 10x minus 1 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 1 upon 10 for this one. Also for this one, it is going to be 1 upon 10. So this is how you can do the questions of factorization.